Today, we're taking a look at the 2022 film, The Sleep Experiment, which is based on true events. The film tells the story of 5 prisoners who became part of a secret experiment in 1961 Britain, an experiment where something went wrong. Years later, 2 detectives, David and Robert, are assigned to uncover what really happened during the experiment and why the entire case was buried. The experiment. 5 male prisoners are selected to participate in a military funded sleep deprivation study. The objective is simple: stay awake for 30 consecutive days. I can't stay awake for 30 consecutive minutes, so I'd be out right away. The military wants to study the effects of extreme sleep deprivation on soldiers and determine whether humans can function without sleep for extended periods of time. The prisoners are promised certain incentives for cooperating. The incentive is if they make it through the program, they will get released from prison. But they are also warned that failure will result in immediate removal from the experiment and a return to prison. The test chamber. The prisoners are placed inside a sealed room containing only basic necessities: a table, several chairs, a bookcase filled with books, playing cards, a lavatory, a bathroom, and a sink. Minimal personal supplies. The room is designed to isolate them completely from the outside world. Every participant is required to keep a daily diary documenting their thoughts, emotions, and the mental condition throughout the experiment. To keep their minds occupied, they are also assigned different activities over the course of the 30 days. The rules. The most important rule is absolute. No one is allowed to fall asleep. If a prisoner begins drifting off, something will immediately happen to keep them awake. Should any participant successfully fall asleep, they will be removed from the experiment and sent back to prison. At first, the men treat the situation almost casually. But as the days continue, the effects of sleep deprivation begin to take hold. Paranoia, confusion, aggression, and eventually something far worse. The story is told in 5 chapters, allowing the audience to slowly piece together the mystery behind the experiment. Chapter 1, and I'm only going to read 2 of the chapters. So, Chapter 1, the investigation. 2 detectives are assigned to reopen the case and investigate what really happened inside the facility. One of the detectives visits Christopher Sampson, a former psychologist who worked at the Portland Down Chemical Defense Establishment. Sampson was the man responsible for selecting the prisoners who participated in the experiment. The detective questions him about the project and asks him if he will return to the station for further interrogation. From the very beginning, it becomes clear that Sampson knows more than he is willing to admit. Chapter 2. We learn that one of the prisoners, or detectives, have close ties to the experiment. Remember when I said the film claims it's based on a true story? It's not. The Russian sleep experiment, the original title, is not real. It's a made-up horror story from 2010 in which the poster, username Orange Soda, wrote a fictional story on creepy pasta. The story was so real, people actually thought it was true. The story goes, people were kept awake for 15 days and did horrible things to themselves. But none of that actually happened. The scary photos linked to it are not real evidence. They use pictures of props or art like Halloween models or displays. The simple takeaway from the film is just an internet horror story. It's not true. I will mention a true horror story that actually did take place is the Stanford Prison Experiment, which came out in 2015. In 1971, a psychology professor at Stanford set up an experiment to see how people would behave given power. He hired everyday people to participate. Half would play the guards, and the other half would play prisoners. And like any experiment, this one went terribly wrong. I highly recommend that film. I do recommend this film as well, The Sleep Experiment. But as I mentioned, it's not a true story, even though it states it at the beginning of the film. It is currently streaming on, I think it's Prime Video. Well, that's it, kids. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. And please follow for more film reviews, psychological film reviews. If you are new here, I appreciate you stopping by. If you are a returning listener rather, thank you for returning. And as I always say, I wish everybody a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good evening. It all depends on where you are. Ciao.